Jason Davis on the Best Soccer Show, North American Soccer Network, NASN.TV. There are very few guys that we have not had on this show that we were anxious to have on this show. We burned through a lot of the good ones. We have an excellent one today. Jozy Altidore joins me on the line. How are you, Jozy?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad. Thanks for taking some time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with your club situation. It looks like you finally settled into a great situation at AZ Alkmaar in Holland. You had an excellent year. Can I ask just what is it about that situation that has agreed with you to this point?
I just think it's more of, that I had the opportunity to play consistently. I think everywhere I've been the past 3 years, I've really just been bouncing around. I never got a fair shake at things. I think in Holland, I got the opportunity. I got to run the games to kind of, show that I have some ability, show that I belong. I think that's one really, big difference compared to my other stops.
As for those other stops, you went on loan to Xerez, you went on loan to Hull, you went on loan to Bursaspor. None of those situations were all of those situations an issue of they got you and then they just didn't want to play it. I know you never even stepped on the field for Xerez.
Yeah, Jerez was actually a funny situation. I mean, it was the type of thing where it was all politics. On one side wanted me to go there for obviously to play, but also it was kind of individual in terms of they wanted me to go there and bring the team to the first division for the first time in history, and it'd be a big thing for myself, their name, my name, that type of thing. The president of the club had other ideas, and obviously when I landed, he told me, look, you were wanted by, for this reason and this reason, and, here I don't really want you to play. So it was a tough situation for me.
How frustrating is it for you as a player the media is going to talk, and obviously I'm part of that deal, and we all kind of throw out opinions, and sometimes they're not that well informed. How frustrating is it for you as a player to have people talking? Obviously it's not just Jerez, it's Hull as well, and then Bursaspor to a lesser extent. How frustrating is it for you to have people talk about Jozy Altidore, the player, and what he may or may not be doing when it's not in your hands all the time?
Well, obviously, to be honest with you, it doesn't really affect me because that's what they do. That's what fans do. That's what media does. They blow everything out of proportion. They think, okay, he was told he was going to go play at Jerez, so he arrived there, he thought he was going to play, and he didn't train hard. That's right. That's the exact perception they take out of the whole Jerez situation. It wasn't like that to any sort. It was I was told I was going to be given a chance to play. I'd have more opportunity to play here. When I got off the plane, I was told they didn't even want me here. So right. I was behind the 8 ball for 6 months, trying to fight something that I really had no chance doing. But I think that, fans and media, that's what they do. They just kind of, try to manipulate things. And not always they try to get the best things out of situations, but they just don't understand half the time. So you can't really blame them. So you're able to
shift that to the side and not let it bother you? I'm sure a lot of guys don't read the newspapers for that very reason.
I don't really bother me. That's something really left field, then I'll take it upon myself to interview. Most of the time, it's all just speculation. What they think is 99% of the time it's not right.
And talk about going back to Holland. Your relationship with Verbeek. There's been a lot made about he likes to kind of shift guys in and out for reasons that nobody else understands. Is there frustration there, or are you always on the same page with him? Obviously, he played very well.
No, I think in the beginning, obviously, it was kind of a feel-out process for me, for him, for everybody. It was a new situation for me, so I was trying to feel him out. But for the most part, I caught on pretty quickly. I never really had any problems. I think it's just normal when you go in and out of a lineup. You can't, always be in a lineup unless you're Messi and you play every game,
right.
Perfect. You're gonna go through times where you're not playing as well, and then you got a guy behind you in training who's playing really well and hasn't gotten his fair shake. So it's like that at any level, and you just got to deal with it as a professional. And get your spot back. Do your best, do everything you can to get your spot back. It's not always easy, but that's what you got to do.
The politics and everything aside, you feel like you have that maturity is a part of your success in Holland at this point. You're very young when you joined MLS. You're very young when you sold to Villarreal, and obviously that didn't work out. How much have you grown up, and how much of that is part of how you're playing now at the club level?
Oh, huge. I think the maturity level, I think is the biggest difference for me in terms of just understanding what it takes. Because when I came here, I was really young. And sometimes I didn't understand. It's just, I just saw things differently than how I see them now. You don't have to, there doesn't have to be somebody watching, to make sure that I train properly now. I train properly every time I go out in the field. I give 100% because I know that in Europe, that's what it takes to get on the field every weekend. It's a very different style of places. And I think it's something that we have to learn in the States, especially at a young age. I think, you look at young players in the league, and at 18, 19, and 20, they're already the players on their team. And so their training regimen changes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make sure we get it in the heads of young players that you have to train how you play every single day. I think that's something that, you have to learn the hard way, because a lot of the times, like look at MLS, a lot of those kids are the best players on their team already. And, there's nobody really pushing them to do that. You got to do it yourself. It takes a hard lesson. So for some people, for some it doesn't. Some get lucky and have people around them that help them do that. But for some, if you're on your own, then it's really going to take, a lot for you to realize that.
So you feel like you learned a hard lesson to get to this point?
I think a little bit, because I went into a team where, I was transferred at a high fee. I was getting paid, a lot of money, a bunch of money, more than a lot of guys that haven't even played yet. And I haven't even played yet,
Yeah.
So that for them, was a bit, I'm sure there was a bit of envy there, not in a terrible way, but it's natural. You got guys that playing in Villarreal for 7-8 years, and I come along, a young boy from, US that nobody knows about. I'm already making, X amount of dollars more than they are. So in that regard, you're kind of on your own, but at the same time, everybody wants you to do well, but you have to understand what it takes, or else you're just going to sink. And I think that took me obviously a little while to understand, because, like I said, I came from MLS where everybody loves you, everybody wants you to be great, and tells you you're great, and you go to a league in Spain, and it's a little bit different. So I definitely had to learn a lot of things.
So Jurgen Klinsmann, one of his messages is, sending guys to helping guys get abroad to train, young guys who might not have that understanding yet that you've gotten being in Europe. Is it you think it's making an impact on the U.S. national team at this point?
Yeah, I just think he's just trying to just elevate the team and how we play. He's just trying to make us play at a higher level. And that's, if anything, what he's trying to do. And I think rightly so. I think in order for the U.S. to step it up, we obviously have to raise our level of play, and that starts in the training ground. But, I don't think the guys come in, I don't think they have a problem training. I think everybody trains at a very good level. I think it's just about getting the team to play at a certain tempo where we can be, effective for 90 minutes.
What's different now? Obviously, I know you were held out of the U.S. camp, and there's some frustration there with your club not releasing you. But what's different now with Jurgen Klinsmann as opposed to the Bob Bradley tenure? Excuse me.
Well, they're different coaches in their own respects. They both do things differently. They both have good things that they do great and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing, just the fact that I think Bob did it too, but I think Jurgen is even more emphasizing the fact that we need to play at a higher tempo, which is, something that I think all U.S. fans have noticed from time, but we need to play at a higher tempo, and we need to play more like the back, and just overall be comfortable on the ball, and it's going to come overnight, because to have that comfort on the ball, you can get it, when you're young. So in that part, we're behind, but I think in terms of, the tempo, the style of play that we play, he's trying to help us improve that, and I think that's more so than any other coach, at least to my knowledge. I think Bob was a little bit different in his approach. I think defensively we were extremely sound, which is why we beat such big teams. So now we're trying to take it to another step further and become even more offensively sound.
I mentioned the frustration with you not being released by AZ Alkmaar in time to join this camp when everybody else was in. Can you, for people who might not know what happened, can you kind of explain that situation and your feelings when you found out that you were going to have to wait?
It's not big. I think it's just this is what happened. We start AZ season on the 26th of June, and if they felt that if I had gone to the national straight away, I would have had only 12 days of rest, which is would have turned to be the case. I would have been done national around June 13th, and then had to report to camp June 13th. About 12 days later, I have to fly back to Holland. So I would have. They figured I would have no rest, so they figured they could at least get me a week before I go to camp to have some rest, so I can have, about 15, 16, 17 days off. And, every player, no matter at what level you are, no matter how good you are, you need at least, 3 weeks kind of recover. So that's all it was.
So your contributions to this 5-game tournament, as Jurgen was calling it, and obviously the last 2 of those were qualifiers, so they were more important than the 3 friendlies. But your contributions, how do you rate your performance, and how do you feel about things moving forward?
Oh, I feel fine. I mean, like I said, I played with the national team, so it's a tremendous honor to be there. But it's nothing that's permanent. It's not. You can't get complacent with the national team. It's something you have to earn. And if all goes well, I'd love to be there again. But if I'm not there and I have to take a seat for a while and watch from home, that's not a problem either. You just have to stay positive and keep working hard. Like I said, it's nothing you can be. You can't get complacent about it. It's something you have to earn every time. So it's obviously the message that he sent throughout the team, which is rightly so.
And speaking of that message, I mean, there's a lot made about Jurgen and jersey numbers and not, giving guys a sense that they have spots locked down. I'm sure you're one of those guys who doesn't feel like you ever have your spot locked down. You always got to work for it. But do you feel like there's more competition at your spot than there might have been in the past couple of years?
I think there's always been competition. I just think the unlucky thing was we've always had injuries in that spot. And I think now we're starting to have, if you look at the guys, a good 6, 7, 8, maybe more guys that are, now consistently playing well. They're healthy. I think we never had that before. I think that was always the case. So I think it's great now. You can throw different guys up there and, hopefully they can do a job for you. So I think definitely the competition's bigger, and it's great for everybody. It brings the best out of everybody and the best for the national team. It's better that way.
You talked about reporting back to Holland and getting ready for the new season. What kind of goals have you set for yourself in Holland? I mean, you had a great season. It's your best season since you left MLS by a mile, and I'm sure that the idea is to build on that. What is the next step?
Just to improve on the season I just had. I think it's pretty simple for me. I just want to get better. I think, I scored a lot of goals, the past season, and I want to do the same thing this year. And I think the biggest thing for me is just to get in there preseason, have a good preseason, and work hard and try to keep myself healthy. And like I said before, just try to get consistent, because I think that's important at this level. You have to be consistent. You have to be able to do it for a long period and not just 3 or 4 games.
What are the team goals? I mean, there's got to be a new platform to work towards in the league and perhaps making it into Europe and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're back in Europe,
right?
Which is great. It's obviously something you want to do. It prolongs the season to let you play in some of the better teams in Europe, but at the same time, we missed out on both the league and Champions League, by just careless errors that we made at the end of the season. So I think the goal is to try and see if we can finish a bit higher up the table and maybe get Champions League football next year, because that'd be something that everybody wants to do for sure.
All right, let's talk about the Jozy Altidore Foundation. I know you were in New York recently promoting your foundation. What exactly are you working towards with your foundation?
Well, I mean, there's no one thing I'm going to put my finger on and say this is what the foundation is for. One of the bigger things that I, like to emphasize about it is obviously to help Haiti, because that's where my roots are. That's where my family's from. And it's a country that's struggling right now. That I know there are a bunch of countries struggling, but it's something that I'm tied to personally. So I'm obviously going to, be more open to doing things there. But at the same time, I want to help kids and I want to help my community, because I feel like, it was hard for me to become who I am today. I'm not saying I'm Maradona, but it was hard for me to get to this level. And it was hard because there's not a lot of talent that's being recognized here. I think, me having my foundation, hopefully with my soccer camps in the future and things like that, and giving out scholarships, I can kind of help shed light on some of the here.
So where can people go to find out more information about the foundation?
Well, they can go to JozyAltidore.com, which will be up really soon. I know people are killing me to get it up there, but I just want to make sure that it's 100% ready and fans can really get all the info they want on there and have a blast with it. And then just on my Twitter, Jozy Altidore, I'll be on there all the time tweeting stuff about my foundation and trying to keep people aware about what I'm doing. Are
you the only guy, I don't know about your club, but at the national team level that doesn't have a website that's up and working right now?
Yeah, I had one and I had to take it down because, politics again. Take it down and kind of revamp it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I had one and it was actually really nice. It was doing really great, but I had to revamp it. I changed companies and stuff like that. So I'm doing that now. It's in the process, and it's going to be the best website on the national.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we appreciate the time, Jozy. Now you're getting back to work. So we appreciate you taking a couple of moments to talk to us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that.
All right, everybody, make sure you check out The Best Soccer Show live Wednesday nights, 9:30 Eastern on NASN.TV, and our weekend edition up Monday mornings on the same site. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.